Well, when I talk about the New England Patriots, when I say how soon they forget,
Wow.
I'm not talking about this year. They're a bad team this year. Nobody's arguing that. They were a mediocre team last year, 8-9, in playoff contention the last game of the year, but not really great. Year before, a playoff team. But they won the Super Bowl more recently than Philadelphia. They won the Super Bowl more recently than San Francisco, in Dallas, in Buffalo, and all the contending teams we're talking about, short of Kansas City, all the contending teams we're talking about in the NFL. Yet, Bill Belichick is asked this question today at his press conference. We'll listen and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Speaking obviously for yourself and your understanding, do you have an understanding that Robert will not ask you to be back next year?
Yeah, I'm getting ready for Kansas City. That's what I'm doing.
Now that's the guy who hasn't forgot who he is. Hey, maybe y'all forgot, but I'm gonna monotone you. I'm gonna cliche you. I'm gonna snort. I'm gonna deflect. I'm not giving you a damn thing, even if you say I'm about to be fired. But there's a report Tommy Curran, NBC Sports Boston, who said he was told his understanding is that after they lost to the Colts in Frankfurt, Tommy Curran was his understanding is that Bill Belichick was told then, bruh, it's over. It's over. We gonna go our separate ways. Here, take your CD from 1998. Take your sweatshirt. Get out. I don't want to throw it out the window. I don't want to go waiting to exhale on you and just throw it out the window and set it on fire.
Wow.
Oof. But you gotta go. You gotta go. Charles, is this the right move? Let's go there. Is this the right move for the Patriots? Should they, if they made the decision to fire Bill Belichick or trade him, whatever, are they making the right move?
That's tough because I think there are still things that Belichick does well that other coaches don't, particularly on defense. I mean, when you look at the players that he's acquired on defense and how they're performing, he's kind of the only guy that can squeeze those pieces into a cohesive defense where he likes a bunch of hybrid guys, from defensive line, linebackers, safety. You got to be able to play a bunch of different positions, and not a lot of coaches can always handle guys who maybe don't have one firm position. I think that's where he still shows a tremendous amount of value as a coach, but where he's totally 100% lost the plot is on offense. I mean, going back to last year where he decides to make Matt Patricia and Joe Judge basically the leaders of the Patriots offense, which had some disastrous results, to this year where they've kind of constructed one of the slowest offenses in the league in an NFL that is gifted towards speed, geared towards being able to make plays in space. They have a really, really slow offense where they're kind of relying on 1-2 yards at a time. And it just leads to a lot of bad football, like where you saw the stat where they lost 3 consecutive games where they held their opponent to 10 points or fewer. You should be winning all of those games, right? This is still a good defense.
You
but
can't make that up.
Right. When you mess up that many times on offense, you have to start making a change. And especially if you're going to think about drafting a new quarterback in the upcoming draft, because right now they have the 2nd overall pick in a 2-quarterback class. So when you think about that, would you hand Caleb Williams or Drake May to the current architect of the Patriots offense? I don't think so. So you have to either reduce Belichick's responsibilities in terms of offense or fire him outright. But the one thing that's true, you can't just run it back as you are doing it this year because it's not good enough.
Now, see, you brought up something that was, when I was looking up my notes before the show, I thought about Jimmy Johnson. It didn't end great for him in Miami toward the back end once he got out of Dallas, or once he was ran out of Dallas. Don Shula, it was a bunch of 8-8s post 1985, a lot more 8-8s than it was 12-4s. Tom Landry got ran out of Dallas by Jerry, right? How much of this is just the sands of time running out on a guy who's had the longest run of success of anybody in NFL history? And how much of this is Bill Belichick, the personnel guy, undercutting Bill Belichick, the coach?
I think it's the latter part, really.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead, Charles.
Go
ahead.
I think that's the big piece of it. Because just think about it's not like they haven't tried to give Mac Jones help over the past couple of years. They've just been very misguided on what that help should look like. You go get Devontae Parker, Juju Smith-Schuster, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki. You're adding guys, but are you really adding guys? That's what the problem is for them. The personnel decisions for Bill Belichick, especially in offense, they've led to a basically unwatchable unit that you don't trust to even really get past midfield against some of the more average defenses in the league. And I think even the more startling thing is Mac Jones is a much worse player than he was as a rookie when he came in and kind of looked like he could at least be competent for a long time. And now he's been for Bailey Zappi, and I think it seems all but done that he's going to be on a different team next year. So that's why I said before, at minimum, he's got to relinquish the offensive personnel decision making, because I don't think that he has caught up to what actually works these days. You can have a Devontae Parker, you can have a Juju Smith-Schuster, but you can't build the whole plan out of that. It's just it's too congested, and it doesn't work when you don't have a quarterback who doesn't have supreme physical capabilities.
Yeah, I mean, look, Bill, I've seen it here, living in Boston, seeing it up close. Bill will pursue special teamers. Ain't nobody asking them to dance, okay? Nobody's asking them to dance. They all lined up at the dance, and he goes to the special teamer. Hey, you want to dance? And they're like, what? You talking to me in the NFL? Don't nobody pay attention to us, but Bill Belichick does. He'll go for his, Brendan Schoolers and Chris Boards and Matthew Slater have been there as long as Belichick has, damn near. I mean, he loves special teamers, and their special teams suck. How about this? He went to, and even in specific cases, he gets it wrong. He went to the University of Georgia backfield and said, you know what? I got a first-round pick, and I need a running back. And he chose Sony Michel and looked over Nick Chubb. He goes to Arizona State and says, I need a wide receiver. And he chose N'Keal Harry instead of looking at Brandon Ayuk and saying, you know what? Nah, this younger kid, he'll be better next year. I'll go to, Deebo Samuel, who I passed on, or DK Metcalf, who I passed on. So I agree. Take personnel power away from him. He would resist. He'd go kicking and screaming, but it would be good for him. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.